Hey, everybody, it's Nicole Bonner with Thrive in Chiropractic. And of course, we have my good friend, Colton O'Brien. Hey, Colton.
Hey, what's up?
Not too much, man. I missed you last week.
I know, me too. We're back at it, so it feels good.
And now it does feel good. Why don't you share with everybody where you were at last week? Because that's pretty freaking amazing.
Yeah. So just got back from Mexico missions. So little backstory on what Mexico missions is for all the students or new docs out there listening. It is a service trip, a mission trip we fly into the Cancun area and we pretty much do a bunch of chiropractic as well as like just work for the community for about a week, 5 to 6 days. It's full of adjusting, full of personal growth, mostly for students. There's a few of us docs on the trip. And yeah, we just really get to see the power of chiropractic firsthand without any attachment to like, are we going to be compensated? It's pure service for the love of chiropractic and for the love of serving. So it was absolutely amazing.
That's awesome. So I have so many questions. I've never been on a missions trip before, but I've always wanted to go. So I have a ton of questions for you.
Let's do it. I'd love to hear them.
So I've heard stories about mission trips where like thousands of people wait online to get adjusted in these other countries. Is that what you experienced, or what did you experience when you were down there?
Yeah, so it's really cool because I've got to see this mission trip grow. This was our fifth time going, fifth or sixth.
Mhm.
And I was on the very first trip as a student. I was a try 3. And we get there and we hear about because one of my mentors is the person that started this trip. Um and that very first trip, we get there and we have all of our friends who have been to Haiti, which is I hear Cairo missions is absolutely amazing. So I recommend going on that too if any students have the opportunity. And they're just seeing thousands and thousands of people. But
Mhm.
when we went to Mexico for the first time, that wasn't the case. Like it was like I remember our first 2 days were very slow. Like I mean, I saw like maybe 5 people, 6 people a day on the
Mm.
first 2 days, and then later in the week, once the word got out, people kind of came and found us, and it picked up to like where we were seeing hundreds a day. And then over the years, we've seen it. It was like that a little bit and grow and grow and grow, and then this time was like really the first time that I've gone, and it's been just the moment we set our tables up till from like I think we usually start around 9 a.m. until we pack up around 8 or 9 that night. It's just seeing people all day. We have a little break in the middle of the day for lunch and rest, but yeah, it's so cool. And this was my first time actually facilitating, so I wasn't on the tables adjusting. I was there to help lead and help the students. That's what I think is really cool about Mexico missions is that you have experienced docs there with you to not do things for you, but to do things with you. So like if students need help communicating or palpating or um, delivering an adjustment that's different than how you typically adjust someone in school, because I mean we're used to these student spines, but it's a whole nother ballgame when you're dealing with people with these chronic, long-standing subluxations and just health patterns that have been there for a long time. And while the
Right.
school teaches you, hey, don't adjust that, run away from that, refer out from that. So it's cool to see the light bulb switch in these students' heads and realize, wow, okay, I don't have to refer out because I'm actually the person that can help them. And they get to see results instantaneously and not just hear stories about it. Because I think that's when the philosophy becomes real is whenever it's not just theoretical and conceptual, but it is practical and there's application to it because you see it with your eyes. And so that's really cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. And I think it's such a blessing that students get to do that, because I think, like you said, even when I feel like sometimes when I come to schools or I speak to students or I speak on stage and like I share my experience and practice, like it's powerful to a certain point. But when you start to experience this, when you give an adjustment and you know that you connected innate to innate, and then you see, like, I don't even want to call it a miracle because it's just science. It's just the way the human body was designed to work. And you see that happening, it's so powerful. And it's just like, it's got to take them to the next level for sure.
Absolutely. And that was the coolest thing was we'd get around every night and be like, what's the coolest thing that you experienced today? And like the stories were amazing. Students were like saying like things that you'd hear people say that were 10 years into practice, and it's just, and they get to see it as a student. I mean, really cool, like a cool story. I figured we'd talk about this, but there was this girl, and she's working with this woman probably about like 35 or so, and her whole left side of her face was paralyzed. So she had like the Bell's palsy, and we know as chiropractors, like boom, like we can help with that immediately. That's just,
Mhm.
subluxation or inflammation around that nerve root. And she was adjusting her, and then she called me over because she was like, I don't think I can. She has this paralysis. Like, I don't want to adjust her, yada, yada, like something like that. And I was like, no, this is perfect. This is perfect. So, like, she would do it instead. But I was like, yeah, but watch what I do and how I take care of her. And so I really just cleared occiput and cervicals on this lady, and just in the blink of an eye after her adjustments, she had full control of that other side of her face again. And the student was just amazed. And I'm like, that's what we do as chiropractors. That's not a miracle. That's just what the body does when it's operating and functioning normally. So really cool testimony, and just experience for her to see, and for the other students to witness and hear about.
That's so
And
cool.
cool for me to experience too, because it's just beautiful to see how that works.
Well, I was gonna ask you, now the shoe is kind of on the other foot. Like now you're the mentor to the mentoree. How did that feel for you? Like, taking a leadership role and teaching these students. That had to feel awesome.
Yeah, it's cool. It's something that I'm very passionate about because, like I said, I love this profession, and I love chiropractic with all my heart, and I love helping people. And that's not just people on my table, but it's students that are going to be helping people. I could probably create more change with that than I could with just these two hands. So it's leaning into like who I am as a leader. I went with one of my good buddies, Grant, and he is a great, great leader, but a totally different leader than me. He is way more of a vocal leader, but I'm a very loving, nurturing, and like example. Like I lead by example, and I
Mhm.
lead through how I move rather than the words that I say. And he does too, but like we just have different leadership styles, and so it's cool. Like also to be secure enough in myself to know that there's not just one way to lead. There's multiple ways to lead, and the way that I lead is perfect for some people, and it's really gonna help a lot of people, and it doesn't have to look like how you lead or how my friends lead or how my mentors lead. And it's just leadership is leadership, and it just all it takes is the heart of service and to be the example. So however that comes across is really cool.
That's awesome. I love that. So, what did you see besides, in addition to the Bell's palsy, did you see any other cool stuff happen that
Oh,
like the students were like, "Oh my God, how did this happen?"
yeah, I mean, there are so many cool things. Just the I think the coolest thing is like, and this is not too crazy, but it is if you think about it. Like it doesn't sound like much, but like I saw this almost every adjustment. It's just like those people that have never been adjusted before. They get on this table with just trust, which is so cool, first of all. And then like you can see when someone's received their first adjustment, and the lights turn on. We all felt it. And to me, that's a miracle. So to see that one was really cool. But I'm trying to
Mhm.
think. I mean, I wasn't next to people when they were experiencing a lot of things, but saw a lot of frozen shoulders get up. Like, people come in like haven't been able to lift their arm in years, and then just like that, just another thing, clearing the cervical spine, clearing the upper cervical, um, some really cool stuff. There's this one guy who was like tilted like this, like, and hasn't been straight on plane on horizon in forever. And he walked out of there standing straight up. So that was really cool. I mean, there were so many things, and I feel like there's more that I'm forgetting, but yeah, like I said, it just becomes like a normal thing when you get to see it work right in front of you. So that's really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You had made a point earlier, too, that made me think about something. You had said, when students are going through chiropractic school, they're always taught about what they shouldn't do, right? And the fascinating thing is that when you go on a missions trip, you're in a place where like you're it, like you're their only source of healthcare,
Mhm.
and And if it's not, like, the question that came to my mind is, if it's not you, then who?
Exactly.
You know, for
Exactly.
sure.
Yeah. It's meant to be, it's up to me, like the old Parker quote. So yeah, that's the truth. And having the confidence and faith in one, chiropractic, and two, yourself, to be able to deliver is amazing. And then it's also a reality check too. Like, you're in school, and you're like, okay, very soon I'm gonna have to be doing this on a daily basis. So if you're not where you want to be, it's that reality check really quick, and really sobers you up, and realizes like, hey, it's time to get to work because there's people depending on me.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a whole subluxated world out there.
Absolutely.
So speaking of people depending on you, when we first hopped on this call, you had gotten a call just before we started our podcast today that gave you butterflies in your belly. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, I'm actually really excited for this, and a little like like good, like pregame jitter nervous, not like nervous like anxiety nervous, but just like excited to do it. So I've always, I call my office a family wellness practice because like that's my goal, is to have father, son, mother, daughter, grandma, and grandpa, everyone being adjusted. Like I truly want to have that family atmosphere of a practice. And like I believe it starts with the kiddos, and I have a few like adolescent and younger kids, but I don't have any like babies, newborns under my care. And I just got a call, maybe 20 minutes ago now, and it was a father just worried about his son, month old, that is having trouble latching, and has heard from an awesome lactation consultant that, we work with children, and in chiropractic care can have some awesome benefits. So yeah, that's a someone depending on me to know what I'm doing and deliver a result for his precious newborn baby. So I'm really excited, just for this opportunity, and it's a first for me, just being 5 months in practice. And hopefully, as I get, just like I was talking about, the students learning new things and seeing new people, as I start to see children get results, it's gonna be really cool for me to start being able to speak boldly from experience, about these kiddos getting well. So that's what I'm really excited for.
Yeah, that is exciting. That is exciting. I remember I got a story for you, and then I want to go back to this because I have lots of questions for you about this. But I have a story when I was first in practice, just like you, like probably less than a year. Um, I had a new patient come in, and it was an adult patient, and she brought like a 6 year old with her. And I took her back, and I said, what brings you to the office? And she's like, I'm here to get pregnant. And I
Mm.
was like, two things. Yeah, I think you might be in the wrong office. Do you know what office you're in? And number two, like, does your husband know?
Yeah.
And so, like, long story short, she had this experience where she was having difficulty getting pregnant with her first son, who was then in the office with her that day. And she went to a chiropractor, and after a couple of months, she ended up getting pregnant. And so her and her husband were trying for their second baby, and just having lots of difficulty and just like lots of frustration. And so she figured, well, it worked for the first time. Let me try it again for the next time. And so she came to my office, and had her spine checked. Sure enough, we checked her, found subluxation, started adjusting her, and she got pregnant. And then that her baby was actually the first infant I ever adjusted.
Wow.
And yeah, and it was fascinating because her son, so there's like lots of fascinating stuff and like lots of lessons that were learned, and lots of aha moments. But her son's name was Cole, and as you guys know, my firstborn son's name is Cole.
Mhm.
So it is truly like a really special, and it really is a special gift when somebody hands you over their infant and says help me,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
And the other thing I want to talk to you about with this is how have you thought about how you're going to do your day one, and what you're going to do with your day one. And in regards to this, in chiropractic school we're so taught to take a history, and talk about symptomatology. And although we know chiropractic has nothing to do with that, chiropractic is about locating subluxations, correcting subluxations so that we can connect the brain to the body and the body can work at its optimum. Um, when you take care of an infant, you're forced to practice that way because there are no symptomatology. There is no pain. There is no neck pain or headaches or low back pain or sciatic pain to discuss. So, have you thought about how you're going to handle that?
Yeah, well, one, I have some really good friends who are like primarily pediatric practice. So I'm going to talk to them a little bit tonight, just in due diligence. But first thought too is like doing what I normally do, which you taught me, was to do the pre-consult. To one, invite them in, talk to them, just build that rapport and relationship, and explain to them what it is that we do and why we do what we do, and just tell the story of chiropractic and how the body functions normally at its best when we have a clear communication from brain to body. So that's first thing. Then we'll sit down and we will do a consultation. We'll talk with the father and just be like, hey, what was the birth process look like? What happened here? What happened there? And what's he been experiencing? And just, express that care and really listen and hear their story. And then from there, it's really just, getting on the table and, showing them what's going on with their child, and just checking the child for subluxation.
So simple, isn't it?
It is that simple,
We make it so much harder than what it is. Because
right?
people ask me all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I have an infant coming in," and they're like, "What should I do?" I'm like, "Well, do the same thing you would do for an adult, because you're looking for the same thing."
That's right.
You explain chiropractic the same way that you explain it as an adult. You do your consultation the same way that you would do a consultation as an adult. And then even if the infant is there to be checked for subluxations and they don't have any symptoms,
Yeah,
you still go through it and do your due diligence in your consultation, but you're always relaying it back to the nervous system.
absolutely. And it's cool we have our CLA too, and we can check heart rate variability on a child, which is really cool. And then also check the thermography scans of the child and see where there could be subluxation rooted in the spine. So really that'll
That's
be
awesome.
really cool too, to scan the kiddo.
Yeah. I'm curious to find out where his subluxations are now.
Yeah, right. Me too.
That is awesome. That is awesome. All right, cool. Well, what else is going on, man? What else is I thought when you told me that you just got a phone call that gave you the jitters, I thought Liz I thought Liz was pregnant.
Oh, not yet, not yet. We'll probably wait at least a year or 2 for that. But,
Gotcha.
we plans and God makes decisions, so we'll see, we'll see. I'm totally the will of the Lord, so whatever happens there, happens there. Not scared of it, not running from it, though.
Well, you know what? You're a year of marriage is coming up quick for you.
December.
December is in like a few months.
Yeah, that's crazy. That'll be a year of marriage and a year of being a chiropractor, which is just crazy because this year's already flying by.
It goes by fast, doesn't it?
As I can understand how people look up and be like, "Wow, I've been in practice for 20 years," you know? So I'm
Yeah.
excited, and this is just the beginning, you know? I sometimes I can look and I can be hard on myself or judge, compare, but, like, this is the beginning of a marathon. So, I got a long way to run, so I'm just gonna take it day by day and just continue to learn, adapt, grow, fail again, fail some more, and then, you know, enjoy the ride because this life truly is a gift and this profession is a gift, and that's one thing I realized being on those mission trips. It really just puts things in perspective. It's just like, man, we really only get this one life, and we have been one with chiropractic being granted a sacred trust, and to be gifted enough to be a chiropractor, like it just we all got here somehow, and how we got there may be different, but we're here, and it's so cool that we have been chosen to be on this path because it really is such a special gift to be a chiropractor. And then two, it's such a special gift to just be alive and to serve and to live fully and free. And man, I guess that's my
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Um, people ask me all the time, like patients will ask me all the time because we have a busy office and they'll be like, "Oh, aren't you exhausted at the end of the day? Or aren't you tired at the end of the day?" Or like people will be like, "How do you do it? You're a small person." And I'm like, "No." I'm like, I'm tired at the end of the day when I'm not serving. I'm tired at the end of the day when we're slow. I'm tired at the end of the day when my head gets in the way and I'm thinking about shit I shouldn't be thinking about. But
Sure.
when I'm serving in chiropractic, I'm like never tired. And it's like the energy just goes on. And even now I've been in practice for 23 years and I'm in like a little bit of a different place because I have this desire, as I coach, well, you guys know I coach new docs and docs opening practices, and Thrive is doing awesome. Thrive is growing, thank God.
Mhm.
And so I have this like it's so strange that you go through this like change because in the beginning it is a little bit also about like, of course we love chiropractic, we love humanity, we love serving in it, but there's also this like responsibility to like to make money and to support our families and create security, and there's like a different time in life. And now like I'm at this place in life which is really cool because it's because there's so much freedom now.
Mhm.
There's so much freedom to be in chiropractic and express myself in chiropractic in so many different ways, and that are outside of my four walls of the office. And yeah, it's so cool. Every day I'm like just look around at my home and my children and my family and my practice and my patients, and I'm so just blessed. Like I don't even know if chiropractic didn't exist. I don't even know what I would do with my life
I
because
think about that all the time.
do you? I know. Like I don't know what I would have done. I don't know. I don't know what I would have done.
That's funny. That's what literally goes through my head like almost every day. It's like, what would I be doing without chiropractic? It's crazy.
I
But
know.
yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's totally crazy. All right, man. Well, hey, man, you know what? We're coming up on about a half hour here already. Unless you have anything else for these students, why don't we wrap it up?
No,
You good?
only thing I have is just that, yeah, you heard it here. Thrive is amazing. It's been instrumental in my journey. So like if you're looking for an awesome coach to really get you where you want to go in practice, where you don't have to walk alone, Dr. Nicole is the absolute best. And then also if you're looking to go as a student on a mission trip, we go at either once a year or twice a year. So hit us both up.
Like,
That'd be awesome.
I might have to hit you up on that because I've been wanting to take Cole on a mission trip,
Oh,
my
that'd be
son.
that'd be
So when we get off this, I might have to talk about that because I might have to get that on my calendar
yeah, that'd be awesome.
for the upcoming year. And you guys too, get it on your calendar. Like, get out of the four walls of school if you're still a student. Get out of the four walls of your practice and get out into the world and see the beautiful blessing that chiropractic is for humanity and for you and for your family. And also, I'm going to add to what Colton said. Guys, we are now opening our podcast up to guests. So we don't really care. We love you all. So I don't care if you're a student. I don't care if you're a new doc, care if you've been in practice for 40 or 50 years. If you want to be a guest on our podcast, private message one of us and just let us know, and we'll get you on. And because I don't, if you're a student or if you've been in practice for 50 years, you all have something to share. You all have something to give, and we all have something to learn. So anybody out there that wants to hop on with us, please shoot us an email, a text, or you can connect with us on Facebook. Does that sound good, Colton?
Perfect.
Awesome. All right, you guys. Well, we are down for another week, and we'll see you next week.
Peace, everybody.
Ciao.